Oh, it's backwards. Appel. Mordechai Appel. So let me see what we get. The Shlomi Archer should have. Shlomi Archer. Shlomi Feinberg. Yeah. So he's not here. And first is at the wedding. And Malcolm Levine said to make sure to tell Rabbi Engel why he's not here. Yeah. So.
I should guess.
Yeah. A few minutes. You made a time, Rabbi Engel.
Something at that table?
What? Wherever you are is okay. So we can hear.
Akiva, is this from here?
No, that's for you. No, I'm going to bring you whiskey. Don't worry. That's for tomorrow. We'll mix the.
Right.
Hot?
Yeah.
It's a little hot.
Those okay? Those okay? More crowd. Everybody's gonna have to listen.
You're meeting our camp. I will time for your father. Those memory. The shopper.
You have to figure out how to go. What?
It's you. He's giving for you.
Me. Sunday. Sure. Sure. You'll just have to. I went to
Came for Rabbi Engel.
who's wedding?
I got dressed for Rabbi Engel.
That's simple.
No, it's parv. Everything's parv, by the way. Rooms. 1 minute.
You have some self there? Take some shit.
I see you for after. All right.
Muslim Nadical. What was it? We were in Israel at the time. 4 or 5 days ago. In Chicago. I'm in Chicago right now. They've been there for a year. It's about a year, right? It's a less than a year, right? What's that? It's a less than a year. I was in class. All right. Chocolate.
See you. Hope you're staying. Okay. What's that?
You have a nice year.
Okay. All right. We're ready to start tonight's Seil Mad, sponsored by the Whites family in honor of the Yotruf of their son Fall, Cheder graduate. What else? Okay. And by the Moscow family in honor of the bar mitzvah of Elisha Kayan and the grand daughter born last week, Miriam Rivka. Where is he? Is he here? And also by Rabbi Engel himself, although first time at Seil Mad, Maggid Shir sponsored it. Yor Adler did it earlier in the year for his father during the Shloshim. But Leili Nishmas, his father of Avram, Reb Gedalia, those who were in Toronto knows what impact he had in respect to the koil, and obviously impact raising a son like Reb David. Like they didn't see that one coming. I also want to wish a mazel tov to Mordechai Appel, who's one of the more our favorite Magidei Shurim here in Seil Mad. He's making a wedding tonight. That's where some of the people are. And finally, this is a chance. I don't know if we'll get a chance here. Rabbi Engel, again, at least in the capacity of Menal, certainly would be a guest, but he's doing the ultimate Seil Mad. He's leaving Toronto. He's leaving the parameters to green pastures of Lakewood. I won't say it's greener, but it's certainly green. Rabbi Engel, it's all yours.
It's a loyal classmate of Akiva. Well, first of all, a person's not allowed to get angry at his Talmidim. Not allowed to get angry at Talmidim. How do you know? I know you can't get angry at your Talmidim. the Rashi brings down Yeshaya.
Wife is okay?
Another story, yeah. But Rashi brings down Yeshaya. In Perek Vav, Hashem says to Yeshaya, "As me eshlach u mi yelechanu." Who are we going to send? Who's going to do the shlichus of Nevuah? So Rashi says that Hashem said to Yeshaya, I tried Amos Hanavi, who was a Navi 2 years before Yeshaya. He was called the Polypus. He was a Kvad Peh. He couldn't speak well. I tried Micha Hamarashdi, and people struck him on the cheek and they hit him. You be the Navi. He said, okay. So the lashon is like this: Who really? Hashem says to me, Yeshayo, Bonai Savonim Hem. My sons are refuseniks. They say no to everything. Bonai Tachonim Hem. They're different people. It's a ticha to have them. Al Menashale Ticha Saleim. You can't get angry at them. Al can't find. So lashon who Aimer Lahem. Mashma, he keeps on saying it. Aimer is lashon Havna. He's constantly saying it to Yeshaya, don't get angry at Klal Yisrael. So, maybe we can't get angry this time either. Okay, Parsha says, Hem Nisi Hamatis, Hem Oindim Al Pekudim. Talking about when the Nisiim brought the Kabbanas. So Rashi says, Rashi's bothered by what's Matis. There's two ways you say a tribe. What are the two ways you say a tribe? You say Mater or you say Shevet. They both mean what? Both mean stick. Shaykhs. Why is a tribe a stick? So Rashi, Mitzrayim, there were three levels. There was a slave, there was a shaiter, there was the Jewish officer to make sure that the quota was completed. And then there was a sarmah, there was a mitzri, who if they didn't finish the quota, beat the shaiter. So these shaitrim took a lot of blows for their brothers. And they were the first to see him. You don't become a nasi in Klal Yisrael because you know how to learn. You become a nasi in Klal Yisrael when you take blows for your brothers. So I think there's Pshat and Rashi to commemorate that they took blows for their brothers with a stick. A shaver became known as a stick, as a tribe, and they became the Nasiim. I got to remember that. It's interesting you mentioned the Nasiim. Who were the first four Nasiim? Elitzer ben Shteir, Shlomil ben Tzuri Shaddai, Nachshon ben Aminadav, and the son of Batsur. There's something to say on each of those people. First of all, Elitzer ben Shteir. What was Elitzer ben Shteir? When Shevet Yehuda brought the first carbon, Nachshon ben Aminadav brought the first carbon, Reuben said, okay, no problem. I understand why Yehuda goes first. Why does Yehuda go first? The Pashto we think is he was a melech, but could be that, remember that when Yehuda said, Tzad coming many, he was going moving to confess his Aveirut Billah. So Yehuda had a special place in Reuven's heart. So Reuven was okay with Yehuda going first. But then when Yisachar started going first, he said, what's going on over here? Elitzer ben Shteir said that Elitzer ben Shteir, who was a Nasi, said, I should go first. I should go before him. It's okay that Yehuda went before, but I should go next. So Moshe had to say, no, I heard from Hashem that is going to the Golem, and the Golem were, of course, Yehuda Yisachar as well.
Was it a Torah Yisachar because he was learning the Torah as Chashivas?
Right, Rashi brings down, right. So Chashivas because of Torah. But Elitzer ben Shteir didn't appreciate this. And what happened to Elitzer ben Shteir? He joined the Machlekes of Kairach. Same time, the same thing. Kairach had a problem with the covenant. How come he's not the Nasi for Shevet Kos? Why was it given it to Yehestenu? It's something ben Uziel. It should have been him. So Elitzer ben Shteir had the same problem. Why did Nasal ben Tzur go next? It should have been him. The next one was Shlomil ben Tzuri Shaddai. Who was that? That was Zimri. Shlomil ben Tzuri Shaddai was Zimri. Where it says in Perek HaNesrafim that Zimri had 5 names. One of them was Shlomil ben Tzuri. That's why we call it someone a Shlomil when he does something because of that. Because he became Zimri. But who was who was the Shlomil ben Tzuri Shaddai? He was the son of Shimon. When Shimon and Levi destroyed the whole Shechem, Dinah did not want to come out. Dinah did not want to come out. Now, people think she didn't want to come out. She was embarrassed. But there's a Rashi in Shabbos, I have to find it. It says that she was mesmerized by Shechem. Even though he was dead, she didn't want to leave Shechem until Shimon promised he's going to marry her. So Shimon married her, and what happened? They had this kid named Shaul ben Aknanas. Rashi brings this down in Parashat Yigash. It's interesting that when Yaakov Avinu said to Shimon Levi, "What'd you do to me? I need to say mispah. Now they're going against me." What did they say back? What should they have said? They should have been quiet. They should have said, "Chatanu, Chatanu Hashem." It's interesting that what happened after that. Years later, Levi's grandson, Pinchas, killed Zimri, Shlomim and Surishadeh, Shol ben Akran, Shimon's son. Shimon, who said, his son was Goyim, that 24,000 people should be killed because it's nuts, and Pinchas stopped the Magefa by killing Zimri. Full circle. Okay, I want to go to the Haftarah for a second. Very, very famous Haftarah this week of Shimshon. The pasuk says that the Malach comes to Shimshon's mother, Tzalponis, and tells her, you're gonna have a son. He's gonna be whatever. He's gonna say, what does that mean? He's gonna begin to save the Yidden from the hands of the Plishtim. So some Sefer wonders, what does that mean? Yochel, he began. It's not true. It's true that Shimshon he killed a lot of Plishtim, but look what happened after Shimshon died. Okay, they were scared for 20 years afterwards. But Lamaisa, after that, what happened? The Plishtim gathered against the Yidden. They destroyed Mishkan Shilai. Right? They killed the Chafni and Pinchas. They took away the Luches. And then after that again, they killed Sholomoth. They killed Yenison and his two brothers. It was very bad. When David HaMelech came along, David HaMelech started, he wiped out the Plishtim. Why does it say about Shimshon, who Yochel Eisheh Som Ya Plishtim? The Chassam Sofer brings down, he says when Yaakov Avinu said in the brachos of Don, he said, Yid Don Nachash Adech Shvifin Al-Erach HaNeshech Ikvesus Vayipolech Ve'okra Yeshuachsan Kivisi Hashem. So he says, Pashup Shad is what happened. Shimshon, he took the and he picked it up and he killed more Plishtim b'moisei than he killed his whole lifetime. That's Pashup Shad. But he says Shimshon was like there's a pasuk in Eve. It says, I guess, Eve was wondering, maybe Hashem mixed up his name. His name was Eve. Maybe Hashem thought he was Oyeg. He was an enemy. Like he was complaining. So he says, I guess, hey, Adat Eis Ledas Yali Salah. So Hashem is proving to him. Do you know when the Yali Salah? That's a wild goat. When a wild goat gives birth, Rashi says he's an Achzor. He's cruel. So he goes to a high rock. And she's kairas leila. She kneels down to give birth, hoping to smash her child on the rocks. She goes high up, she wants to give birth, and the kid goes flying through the air. At that moment, Hashem sends a nesher to save the baby, to catch the baby. So Hashem says, "You think I could time that thing perfectly? If I don't know the difference between Ayev and Eiv?" And then he says another pasuk. He says, "Chaylil ayoles tishma." So Rashi brings down the Ayola Rachmatzar. The Ayola is a she deer, right? The cave deer. By the way, Ayol is a Ayol is a
ram.
Ayol is a ram, but Ayol is a deer, is a male deer. Ayola is a female deer. So when Ayola wants to give birth, she has a very narrow rechem, womb, and it doesn't work. So Hashem sends a nachash that bites her at that moment when she's about to give birth, and then the rechem opens up. If the nachash would bite her before or after, she would die, and that would be that. So Hashem times it perfectly. That's a right that Hashem, of course, Hashem could take care of Eve. So he's saying like this. He's saying, so Shimshon was like the nachash that bites the Ayola and hopes to give birth. Because what happened? He says that I don't know where he gets it from. He says the Ayola is Malchus based on. I don't know where he knows that from, but he says that. And he says you should know that Orpah and Rus married the Sorei Yehuda, Machlon and Kilyan. So Machlon was married to Rus. So it was Yachin and Boaz. Actually, Kilyan was older than Machlon. So Kilyan married Orpah. He was the Yachin. He started off the Malchus based David, and Machlon married Rus, and Rus married Boaz. Boaz, he was strength. Now Orpah comes to where Ira off the back of the neck. Gvura is strength. The opposite of Gvura is Eiref. Why? Because when someone's running away, retreating, they give the back of the neck. So Gvura is the opposite of Arpa. So he says when Arpa got married to Machan, there was a shtickle kedusha left to her. But then he brings down a fantastic medrash here that you know that when Shimshon was captured by the Plishtim, they knocked out his eyes, they put him in the base of Surim. So the Gemara says in Saita, we learned it recently in the Daf, the Gemara says that the Plishtim brought their wives to be misaber from Shimshon, thinking they would have strong sons. So they brought Arpa. Arpa was nivel to Shimshon, and he says that she had her 4 sons, Goyas and Yishbi B'Noyev, and the other 2 sons also, all from Shimshon. So mainly he says Shimshon was able to be shy, was able to draw out the Kedusha from Arpa. Now it's interesting.
How old was Arpa already by then? Shimshon
was 40, I don't know how old. Yeah, she was pretty old, yeah. She was old.
Had to have been,
yeah, she was old. She was killed, the Gemara said she was killed by Avishai. Avishai came, he had Pizza there, he came to save David, right? So it's interesting, in Shmuel Beis Chaf Aleph, it says, talks about Yishbi B'Noyev, who tried to kill David, it says, Asher B'dei Harafa. So Pashad is Rafa is from Rephaim, she was a lady giant, that's why she had giants. But the Gemara says that Harafa is Arpa. Now the gematria of Arpa is 355. He says, L'shuascha kivisi Hashem, if you take away Hashem, the Shem Adnas, Aleph Dal Nun Yud, which is gematria 65, you're left with 290 Harafa. So Arpa became Harafa. The word Rafa also means weaker. She became weaker. She lost her chelek of Kedusha that she had. So when Shimshon was boil her, he was shy from her that tiny Kedusha, and he enabled David to be able to defeat the Plishtim. So V'yochel Hashem Somya Plishtim means by him doing that action that you think is such a terrible thing, that started off the Tzmichas Karen David. He was able to defeat the 4 giants.
So when she would have still had the Kedusha, he would not have been able to beat.
That's what Shimshon did. That's V'yochel. Now keep going now. Here's his wife, the whole thing. And he says, okay, Hashem, let the Malach come back and tell him what's going to be. So he said, so Malach Hashem says to Monech, Mikael Asher Amart Elisha Tishamer, whole thing, the Yeti Begef Hayan, Chatzan Mazog, Kael Asher Tzvisi Tishma. So Schwab says one of the best things I ever heard on Chinuch, he says over here. First of all, he wonders, in Dikduk, the word Tishamer and Tishma can mean 2 things. It can mean Lashon Neichach, speaking to a lady you should watch. I'm sorry, speaking to a man you should watch. Or Tishamer means she should watch, speaking about a lady. So Lashon Neichach is speaking directly to a man. Lashon Nister, speaking about the lady. So what was it? If you look at the Shakmatai here, where he comes, he says to the Malach, what should we do? The Malach told the wife already what to do. What was he most? The teretz is that was bothering Manoach. How could I raise a nazir if I'm not a nazir? So the Malach said, Kol Asher Tzvisi Tishmar means everything I commanded her you should keep. If you want your son to be a nazir, you have to be a nazir. So how many times we tell the kids, do as I say, not do as I do, and the kid says, "Well, Tal, what's going on over here? Why are you doing this?" Well, he's telling us, Rav Schwab, that if you want to be mechanech a child properly, you want the child to learn. You don't tell him to go learn. You learn. You be the role model. You do it. Cautious to say Tishma. You do it in that way. Your kids will learn the right way. Okay, there's a famous word from
whenever any of the mechanechim at the Cheder said, we're not into being mechanech parents, we're all mechanech kids. I never bought into it. Because indirectly, you're telling the parents how to behave. Exactly.
Okay. I accept it. There's a famous Gemara in Saita also. The Gemara brings down, Mishon of Akiva. Pasuk says by the Saita, V'niksa v'nizra zara. Let's say she goes through the whole thing, the whole embarrassment of being a Saita and everything else. And she's innocent. So what's the reward for that? The Niksa v'nizra zara, she's gonna have children. She'll be innocent and she'll have children. So the Machalik Rabbi Shimon of Akiva. Rabbi Shmuel says, I'm sorry, Akiva says, if she was childless, then she'll have children. So in fact, Rabbi Shmuel and Cain call Akara Yistru V'Yivkidu. Every lady who's in Akara will go through the whole thing, go through the whole, make a whole production, be alone with the man, and then she'll have to have a baby. Eloi says, no. If she had Tunah girls, she'll have boys. If she had Shchayim, she'll have Levanim. If she had ugly looking children, she'll have beautiful children. Like Taisvis, same conscious on Rabbi Shmuel. So every lady who has only wants to have a boy will go through the whole thing and she'll have her boy. Maha il chacham v'taka nasa. I'm sorry if I Taisvis the kasha. And he obliges by kasha.
Obliges by kasha?
Obliges by kasha Taisvis. Zok the Chanuk Satayra, the Rebbe of Heschel, who was not Hasidic, she was Rebbe the Shachan and Taz. You ever see a Sefer Chanuk Satayra? It's very sharp. He's a lot of chidut, a lot of pilpul. So he says, you have to ask yourself a question. If the lady, maybe Torah promised a lady children if she goes through the embarrassment of being a Satan, but if she fakes it off, who says she should have a child? Maybe she doesn't have a child. He says it can't be because the Torah promises if an Ixav and the crowd is watching. The whole crowd is there. And they see a lady drink the Mayim Hamarim. If she doesn't have a baby 9 months later, they're going to say the Torah is plaster, the Torah is false. So she has to have a baby. So he says, no, maybe that's only when, maybe the people will realize that she faked it off. That's why she didn't have a baby. It's only when you really go through the whole parsha, then you have a baby. He says it can't be because he says, no, the people won't say that. Why? Because the people will say, really, I'll tell you, she'll have a baby. Why will the people be, appeased? Because they'll say, oh, it must be the husband that did that there. Because the pasuk says, "V'nika ish me'avayin, b'zman she'ish menuka me'avayin," and then she gets punished. But if the man also did this, then the water doesn't check her. So the people will see her drinking. They'll say, "Oh, you know why she didn't blow up? Because her husband must have been guilty." Problem is, poor guy, the husband knows I didn't do anything wrong. So why is my wife having a baby? He'll say the Torah is fake. Teretz is, he says, he brings down a medrash. I don't know where he gets this from. When the children are not good, the water doesn't check her either. The children are not good. So maybe this is what we have here. So we have. So the crowd sees she drinks. I must say nothing. Oh, it must be the husband that does this. But the poor husband knows I didn't do this. What does he say? Oh, must be the kids were bad. The kids say we're good. Must be our father's bad. So each one has someone to blame it on. But that's only according to Rabbi Shmuel, who holds there are children, but she has instead of having girls, she has boys. According to Rabbi Akiva, what's going to happen? She's an akara. She's going to drink the water. Nothing's going to happen. They're going to blame who? The husband. Well, who's the husband going to blame? There's no one else to blame. He knows he's innocent. So Taisus Kash's answer. And he brings down, he says,
blame her parents.
Really, she's Saisa B'Fahesya. She goes and does B'Fahesya. But she said, B'Fnei Al-Kanabali, what's going to happen is the crowd's going to blame Al-Kana, but Al-Kana's going to know I didn't do anything wrong. So why should I be blamed? She'll have to have a child. What's that? Okay. I think this week is again, right? The Hamidu Talmidim Harbe. You have a lot of Talmidim. It's interesting though, you always put the number before the noun. So you don't say Ish Meir, you say Meir Ish, right? You always put the number before the noun. So it should say V'hamidu Harbe Talmidim. If you meant to say that the Rebbe should have a lot of Talmidim, it should say V'hamidu Harbe Talmidim, not Talmidim Harbe. So the Chazon Ish brings down the Sefer Maaseh Ish, Chel Gimel, he says, the Pshat like this, V'hamidu Talmidim Harbe Pa'amim. It means when you have Talmidim, everybody thinks we have to, there's a problem, we have to save the Talmud, we have to help the Talmud. Let the Talmud fail. Let them fail, let them see, got it wrong, try again. V'hamidu Talmidim Harbe Pa'amim. You're going to make them stand. You ever see a kid trying to walk? Kid tries to walk, takes one step, we cheer, and he falls down. Second later, he gets back up again. He keeps on doing it until he takes 2 steps and 3 steps. So Amidu Talmidim Harbe means let the Talmidim Make them stand many times. Let them fail. Let them succeed. Let them fail to succeed. And that's going to be the true tzlach. Are you, when you're in chinuch, are you a progressive Rebbe, or are you still in the dark ages where, how we did it in Altaheim?
It's a rhetorical question.
Maybe, I don't know. But how do we mechanic that? We say, what? When there are tatas, again, I'm not being chayzik has shalom, but we did it a certain way in the shtetl.
Well, Petch, and that was it.
Yeah, that's right, man. Go Petch, right? Is that the way we should be mechanic now, or or
why do we look at the results?
Does the time call for maybe new taxisei Muhammad? I remember when I was sitting by Shalom Zachar right before COVID, and a guy sat down next to me. And I always like to ask this question: tell me about your childhood. Tell me about your elementary experience. And the guy's face contorted in rage, and he starts telling me, because I was a good kid. The Rebbe used to take kids in my class, used to slap them and beat them and everything else, and you could see like it hurt him. 50 years later, he still remember what happened. So I always like to say, if you remember when remember the good old days when you used to you went to the George Washington Bridge, right? You paid your tolls, $1.50 you paid, and you went through the bridge.
$1.50.
In those days.
I'm going back. So I still remember when I was a bucker, it was $1.50. And they didn't chop. The Canadian dollar at that time was also 40% less than the US dollar, but they didn't chop. You gave them a $20 bill Canadian, they gave you back $18.50 Canadian. So to pay for our trip, we kept going back and forth the whole day.
Back US.
Yeah, I gave it back US. But what happened? They saw, it's taking a long time. You're going in there, you give your money, you got to wait. Guys have exact change. So they said, you know what? Maybe we'll start making a lane for exact change. We'll move it a little faster. Oh, so you got 50 cents, you go, what happens? The guy throws it in, he misses, he's looking for his money, and there's 20 cars behind him. They realize we got to do something better. We have to make something called Easy Pass. You're going to go, and you're going to have something, and you're going to be able to go 10 miles an hour, and you're not going to have to stop, and traffic's going to move. Recently, they have, it's very nice, but we want to go 60. We want to keep going 65. We don't want to stop. So all the way to the left, you go and it reads your thing, and you can go 65. So those are the four meisters you have. Some meisters say, you know what? It worked for our grandfathers, it can work for us also. And they're mired in their old ways, and there's a lot of kabbalas. And other meisters say, you know what? We gotta make a little improvement. We'll do a few things. They're the ones paying the exact change, but they're going also at a snail pace. Then you have people say, you know what? We got to be progressive. Let's go with the times. And then you have the Toronto Cheder that goes 65 in the left lane. You have Rebbeim that are up to the times, and they know what they have to do. It's interesting, I don't want to. Last time I was here, I got the whole thing with prizes. I don't want to get into it now. I just want to say one thing.
You're still holding by that?
I'm still holding by that. So it's interesting. You go driving a lot, so you use Waze, right? So you drive, and Waze tells you in 0.4 miles there's a cop. Okay. Then they ask you, is he still there? Still there, not there? You ever answer? What happens if you answer? What happens?
You points.
You get points. The thing blows up. You get fireworks, and it says +2. It used to be +4. Now it's +2. So I went on a recent trip. I was in the car for 9 hours. I got a thing from Waze. I did 100 times apparently. I don't know. So I was bored, and I got 100. So I became an elite Wazer. Can you imagine? I'm an elite Wazer. Isn't it unbelievable that a multi-billion-dollar corporation like Waze, they don't give you anything for the points. You just become an elite Wazer. So why do we have to give prizes to kids? If the multi-billion-dollar corporation understands that we can make people feel good that they're elite Wazers, that's what we give them. Why do we feel the need, always abundant, to give drones and all these things? I'm just putting it out there. Last thing I want to say, we have a lot of
kids are smarter than the adults.
What's that?
There's kids.
So I'm not going to get into that, but I can tell you Pshat the Rambam. The Rambam doesn't say the good price.
Shkedim, it says Shkedim, the Goyim,
Shkedim and the Goyim are by the Seder. That's by the Seder. You're talking about the Rambam Chelek.
The kids are smarter than the adults.
I read that
Read
Rambam.
what he said. It was part of a bigger discussion.
I know you're
and
going
we
to
went to task on it.
I see we have a lot of Zaydis here, so I want to just say, want to conclude with a vote for Zaydis. We say in Shemana, say, Zeicha Chasti always and maybe goal of Nevaneim. So the Kasha is, it's incongruent. It should say, Zeicha Chasti always and maybe goal of Neim. He remembers always, he does Chesed for the children. What's the Nevaneim? So the Chiluk to the Tat and the Zayda. The Chiluk. The Einikel comes over to the house, right? It's Kulei Taiv. He comes in, you give him a kiss, you give him a hug, he sits down, you give him Nash, we're doing in Shiva, what you learned today. He spends 2 hours at your house, and you say bye-bye. I don't have to deal with it. He goes home to his parents, right? Your interaction with him is Kulei Taiv. Now, the father loves the child more than the Zayda does, but the father sees every single day in the child. We got to correct him, we got this. We tell the Eibishter, it's been a long goals. If you're going to look at us like we're children, you're going to see every imperfection. Zeicha Chasti always maybe go live Nevanim. Look at us like we're in a bin of good.
Go ahead. Wait. One second. Yeah, wait. First of all, L'chaim, Shkoyach, But I just to tie the 2 points, King Prize, and I change it. And I think that's really how you recognize that there's a time for chinuch to give a lot of prizes, and as times evolve and times change, then you can withhold it. It's not a steerer, right?
I'll tell you something. It's Chatani Maskir Yom. So I've been very against prizes for a long time. Last Erev Shabbos, we have Erev Shabbos Masiba. And for some reason, we usually have 2 separate ones. We put everybody together. So we had in the base medrash, we had about 150 kids come down her. And I realized we need to do something special. So I made an announcement that the best 2 singers who sing the Zmiras in each class are going to get circles. He never has to sing before. I'm telling you. It was unbelievable. And I went on to Obama and I said, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a good thing to get prize. But you're right. You have to know. I'm not saying there's never a place for prizes, but I'd much rather go to a kid and say, you did this well, here you go. Not if you do this, I'll give you something. Okay?
Go ahead. Thank you. Good. Once again to our sponsors.